Alex Jones accused of perjury after Sandy Hook parents' lawyer obtains his texts. The lawyer representing Sandy Hook parents in Alex Jones' damages trial said Wednesday that Jones' lawyer sent him years' worth of texts and emails from Jones' phone. Why it matters. Jones, who has repeatedly lied that the Sandy Hook shooting was a hoax, has already been found liable in defamation cases brought by families of the victims. The Texas jury in the damages trial will determine how much Jones owes victims' parents after publicly making false claims. What they're saying, and quote, 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years. And that is how I know you lied to me. When you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook, and quote, said Mark Bankston, the attorney for Sandy Hook victims' families, Wednesday in court. End quote. You know what perjury is, right? End quote, he said. End quote. You testified under oath previously that you personally searched your phone for the phrase, Sandy Hook, and there were no messages. End quote. End quote. We asked for all emails. And you told us, under oath, you don't use email and there are no emails about Sandy Hook, end quote. Bankston continued. Jones responded by saying he quit using email before Sandy Hook. End quote. There are emails that you've sent to your lawyers, your staff and others concerning your business operations that we requested for Sandy Hook, other topics that have been requested in this lawsuit, end quote. Bankston said after showing Jones a document with his email address. Worth noting, Judge Maya Guerra Gamble of the Travis County District Court, who is presiding over the case, told jurors the contents of Jones' phone were not, end quote, properly turned over when it should have been, end quote. Alex Jones' company files for bankruptcy midway through Sandy Hook damages trial. Free Speech Systems submitted the filing during a 2-week trial to determine how much the Texas-based conspiracy theorist will award the parents of a victim in the 2012 school shooting, prompting speculation about the company's effort to avoid bankruptcy oversight as a small business. Sign up for The Brief, our daily newsletter that keeps readers up to speed on the most essential Texas news. Alex Jones' main company, Free Speech Systems, filed for bankruptcy on Friday, midway through a 2-week trial to determine how much in damages the Texas-based conspiracy theorist will pay the parents of a Sandy Hook shooting victim. The filing is not expected to disrupt the trial to award damages for defamation taking place in Austin, which is set to resume Monday morning. In the bankruptcy filing, posted by the Austin American-Statesman on Saturday, Free Speech Systems filed under a subchapter designated for small businesses, which a Sandy Hook family's lawyer said is an effort to avoid oversight. That lawyer, Avi Moshenberg, told the Texas Tribune the filing's timing is significant because he believes Jones hopes to declare bankruptcy as a small business, with limited debt, prior to the culmination of the current trial. The damages awarded would drastically increase the company's debt, and eliminate the possibility of filing for bankruptcy as a small business. There's all sorts of protections that are supposed to be designed for a swift, quick bankruptcy with not a lot of oversight, the kind of oversight you'd see in a normal bankruptcy, because it's designed for small businesses, Moshenberg said. He believes that Free Speech Systems hopes to take advantage of that lack of oversight. They obviously filed before the end of the trial because their debt is going to exceed that level that qualifies as a small business if they waited until after trial. Moshenberg said. The company reported $79 million in liabilities, $54 million of which is debt owed to a company called PQPR Holdings. Jones is listed as the director of that company. Sandy Hook families suing Jones for defamation and emotional distress have alleged, in a separate lawsuit, that this significant debt to PQPR Holdings is a diversion to protect millions of dollars in assets. Separate from his company's bankruptcy filing, Jones is in the middle of a 2-week trial in Austin to determine how much he will compensate Scarlett Lewis and Neil Heslin, the parents of Jesse Lewis, a 6-year-old victim of the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. Last October, an Austin judge ordered a default judgment against Jones for defamation after he called the school shooting a hoax, leading Jones listeners to harass the victims' families. Jones and his legal team have previously used bankruptcy filings in the midst of the litany of lawsuits dogging him. In April, 3 other companies owned by Jones filed for bankruptcy, including one that was previously called InfoWars, which is the name of his show and website where he called the shooting a hoax. That bankruptcy filing delayed jury selection for the current Lewis-Heslin trial. The plaintiffs decided to drop one of the bankrupt companies, the renamed InfoW, from the lawsuit. To proceed. Following the bankruptcy filing on Friday, Jones' lawyer, F. Andino Reynal, submitted an emergency motion to lift the automatic stay provision of the bankruptcy code. The motion will enable the current trail to continue unobstructed. But the bankruptcy filing could impact 2 future trials set for September in Austin and Connecticut, both of which will determine the amount in damages to be paid to Sandy Hook parents, said Moschenberg, though he hopes to preserve those court dates. One thing that shouldn't be lost is this company, which does millions and millions of dollars in business, has filed bankruptcy protection under the Small Business sections, Moschenberg said. Free speech systems filed under Subchapter 5 of the Bankruptcy Code, which is reserved for small businesses, defined as having less than $7.5 million in debt, aside from money owed to affiliates or insiders. Of Free Speech Systems' $79 million in liabilities, Moschenberg said he suspects much of that debt is to insiders, like Jones and his parents and children, and therefore would be exempt from the total debts to qualify as a small business. Reynal did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Saturday. The Austin American Statesman reported that Reynal told Austin District Judge Maya Guerra-Gamble that the filing was done now so the size of the damage from the current trial can be provided to the bankruptcy court. This is a stunt by Alex Jones to try to avoid facing justice, said Moschenberg. The Sandy Hook families are absolutely going to bring him to justice. That is our goal. That is our mission, and we're just not going to relent until that happens.